for whatever it is.
Part 2, because we need that because, what's it called? The first hour. Yeah. Recording thing.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding
I
me.
didn't
You
even
see,
use up all the
Stanley?
jumps.
This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this?
What?
I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and
It's an actual thing, though, but how do I get
I
it?
intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Twitter.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
Or you can make
No
your own
frills,
new content.
no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
No. Oh. Wait. This is not released then.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
This is exciting.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
We're so
I
beautiful.
call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
How dare you just shit on me? Playing this shit on demo? No way. How dare you shit on PlayStation like that? I'm a proud PlayStation user. God damn it. How dare you?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
Yes,
it was literally every game ever created. It was
Skyrim.
It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley
Games,
Parable anymore.
unlimited
It's
games.
just a husk now. A
But
lifeless husk
no games.
with an hour of new elevator content.
Oh, what's down here? Dare you put that there? How dare you put that there and not let me go through it?
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com.
9.
The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content.
Yes, it
All
did.
they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Are we going back here?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
What is
Oh,
this?
no. Oh, God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games.
Oh.
I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
2.9
Honestly,
hours.
I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
What do I do now? I can't read that. I can't read that.
Okay, let's see what this
Well,
one's.
the idea for the game is
Well,
good.
the idea for the game is good.
Very repetitive.
For someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley?
Preachy.
I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. It's actually
2016.
quite shocking for me. I always,
2016.
well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being
Hey,
rather
that one's
terse to
recommended.
begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people
What
down.
does that one say?
Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
What does this one say?
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
I don't.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
No, this doesn't end well. I remember this.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choice. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go, poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie Nine will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some of the wording.
Why that rating was like...
To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on how exactly pressurized gas works. Perhaps that would have been a smart thing to check on before I went on about this whole exercise of
11
making the
years
skip
ago.
button.
Holy shit.
Although I have to imagine. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go?
Yes.
Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Yes.
I do feel quite certain that there was one here before.
There was.
How else would we have gotten into the room in the first
Exactly.
place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere?
How the fuck do we get out of here? Let me
A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there?
Can't you
I
make
swear
a
there
door?
was.
You're the narrator. You have the power to make a
Maybe
door now.
just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just
I heard you
wait
the first
here.
time.
Wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it?
Yes.
Good. I'll be right back.
Bye-bye. Wonder how long he's gonna take. Wonder how long this recording has been. It's only been 12 minutes. Let's show it. Does he ever come back? I don't think he does. I think I'll be waiting for him. I think if he does come back, it's gonna be like ages away. Hold on. Time is... Okay, it's not the same. I think that's there to show you how, like, much time you skip. I can wait. While I'm doing this, I can upload that other video. There we go. Wait, keyboard works, but mouse doesn't. Wait, what? Wait, I can use keyboard and mouse, but I can't look around. Keyboard is working, but when I go to look around on the mouse, it don't work. Hello? Looking around doesn't work. It's crazy. Anyway, I don't think he comes back. I don't think he comes back. I will stand here and I'll look at this button. I was gonna say. Sounds like the pressing of a keyboard. Why do you have to be gone for so long? It's not that hard to find a door. Now I'm gonna skip, but...
Stanley! Stanley!
Oh, he's
Stanley,
back.
please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Well...
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button. And if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh, my God.
I mean, I
And
tried
it's all
waiting
because of
for
those
you, but
reviews.
you
Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even
fuck
met
you,
Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child. Wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment. What does such an impulse serve? For whose benefit is this? And here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button.
One of the lights are gone out.
Become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it.
I have to.
Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety that you sit with me and just stay here.
But like,
No, I know you
I'm
too
talking
well.
to you.
You'll be leaving me. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week.
A week?
Or 2 weeks.
Someone get this plant some water, bro.
Here, not a single person to speak with.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I can't see.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
How much
I stopped
time?
keeping track after a year.
Have
you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities.
Hello? long is it? Somebody shut that thing up there. Come on, come out.
But they didn't understand
Oi.
the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition.
Mr.
But where are the
Narrator.
jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness
Facts.
inside ourselves.
Facts.
We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project.
Hey.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center
sure?
of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time.
They want
They
your
are
job.
mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a
Exactly.
sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my,
Yes.
how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves that they couldn't help but leave a negative review on pressurized gas. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, right?
The end is never the end, 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 end, is never the 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 end.
Wait, it's leaking. Sorry about that. Wait, can I get a quick shower? I haven't showered in years. Yes. Thank you very much. Wait, that's a way out. Except I can't get up there. But he let that fly. Yeah, but where are we? I see a tree out there. Oh, the button fell. Bye bye narrator. Bye bye Stanley Parable. The end is never the end, is never the end, is lighting never the... Don't tell me we start like nothing happened.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
On this again. I was about to like end it
You
there.
see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Yep.
So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Hey. Two.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Oh.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe. What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Look in the PowerPoint.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Oh my god.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Oi.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
I haven't put my name in anyway. How's it gonna know?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally, dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim. Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I am Jim.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
But I'm Jim!
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Insurance bucket. I need to see this bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley parable will feel perfectly normal and
Give me the
perhaps
bucket.
even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of
Give me
jarring
the bucket.
cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms.
Give me the bucket.
And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a
Give me the
pain in the
bucket.
ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on.
Give me the bucket.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, he keeps title dropping, man. He keeps title dropping.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
I saw the new content. Stanley Parable 2. No screenshots. Please, no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Gotta take some
Or actually,
screenshots.
maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
I took tons of screenshots in here. Trophy. Free trophy. Get yours right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new trophy. No steps. What lever?
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes, you see, you'll okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Give me the damn trophy there. No. Stanley Parable 2 sucks. Why give me the trophy? Fucking sucks. Hate this game now.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Let's exit. Infinite hole. I haven't seen that. It won't end.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Oh. Yes. It does look quite deep. Can I check my bucket down there? Can I leave my bucket up here so my bucket stays alive? Can the bucket check me down there to see how far it is? Can I get better? Look at that. Look at that big old hole right there. fell.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top,
What's
and
the
we can
teleport
continue
button?
onward.
Oh, that's the teleport button.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe
Really
do it on the
sounds like-
sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Sounds like there's a bottom to this, because...
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Just the two
Look,
of us.
things got a little heated
We
there. I
can
think we
make
both
it
said
if
some
we
things we
try,
didn't mean.
just the
Why don't we
two
just
of
put
us.
all this behind us
Just
and
the
agree to
two
just
of
call
us.
the whole
Just
mostly
the two of
infinite?
us.
If that works for
Building
you,
castles
then go
in
ahead
the
and press the
sky,
teleport
just
button
the
to
two
warp
of
up to the
us.
top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Okay, I need to
Great.
read that
Now,
book.
I'm very excited.
Oh, shit.
For heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have
I
said,
mean,
yep,
back
that's
up.
an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't
Yes.
help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did
Plus,
before.
that
I
is
mean,
bigger.
admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled.
Yep, time to go again.
I really do
Oh,
have...
no.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're
I can't
obsessed
get
with
back out.
holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Hello?
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean,
Pressing it.
I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
No.
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You
I
get to
wanted
be
to
with the
see
hole,
if I-
I get to do literally anything else.
No.
Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Fuck. Let me jump. What was that? What was that noise? What's going on here? Narrator, Mr. Narrator. Let me out. This isn't funny, Mr. Narrator. Let me out of here. Please. Oh shit. This is so dramatic, man. Oh my god. Okay. The fucking
Stanley? Stanley! Stanley!
Huh?
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Okay.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
I start my bucket. I've looked at like collectibles.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Yay! 6?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
I want to leave now. I've had enough.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted
Yes.
to? Ready to move on now?
Yes. Hey. Nice screenshots.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in
Come
there
on,
somewhere.
man, that was a
Say,
foul.
let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
No.
Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a
But the
different
jump
arrangement.
circle.
Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Why is the jump circle in
Who am
the
I kidding,
hole?
Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first
wanted
game.
those
I wanted
collectibles.
fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oi.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Wait.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hey, the bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yes, it was.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the... And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office... Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This
No.
broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Not giving you my bucket. Oi.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Nice. Where's all the figurines now?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Yes.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yo, Stanley, really? That's the best you could come up with? We got 4 minutes left of video timing, and that's what you're telling me you're using that for? Stanley, really?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
The bucket is here for me.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Really gonna do this shit again? Got 3 minutes left.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Bang.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except
2
for
minutes
the bucket.
left, gang. 2 minutes left, gang.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy
Come on.
or sad or content.
I'm gonna have to give
Walking,
like a
eating,
ending
working,
speech now.
all of it monitored and commanded
Shut the
from this
fuck up,
very
boy.
place.
Hope you
As
guys
the cold
enjoyed the
reality of
video.
past
This is
began
part
to sink
2.
in, Stanley
The second
decided
part
that
of
this
part
machinery
1.
would never
Type
again
shit,
exert
type
its
shit,
terrible
type shit.
power over a...
And this is it. That's the end of the video.
Stanley and the bucket waited
The
in
end.
blackness.
End of Beth.
Was it
End
over?
of the thing. I'm not gonna play for 10 years, get that trophy, and then I'm gonna chill.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away.
Yay.
Excitedly, the two of them
Freedom.
began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted
Massive?
to learn to roller skate.
You know what
Stanley wanted
else
to
is
sneeze
massive?
in every country on Earth.
Low
Both of them wanted to begin
tape
watching a movie,
fade.
any movie, but then stop it halfway through
it is
and
still
begin watching it
massive.
in reverse from the end.
Massive.
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one
Like I'm
another
seeing
to lean
mutants
on,
that
to
I've never
trust,
seen
to
before.
support.
Hello?
Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Hello?
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
No.
No